Hi everyone, this is Parth. It is Saturday, August 6th, 2011, and I just returned from 2 long days of assisting my good friend Cherie, who's a clinical psychologist and also runs a horse camp working with youth. So for the last couple of days, we've been working with 6 to 13-year-olds, working with 5 horses, creating activities around self-confidence building, teamwork, and leadership. So it was an incredible experience. These children are from a wide variety of backgrounds, and the 5 horses that we worked with are rescue horses. For the last 10 years, Shri has been on this personal endeavor to rescue horses that have been the object of violence and abuse. And so each of these horses have their own unique sensitivities to energy. So when you work with these horses, you have to be very calm, very relaxed, and you have to follow the rules to enlist these horses' friendship. And that's what we were working with the children around. First, we did a lot of activities around self-confidence, around teamwork, having all the children get to know each other, and then working with them around how to groom horses properly, and then various exercises to support these children in enlisting the horse's confidence and friendship. And once these horses give or signal to these children that they want to be friends with them, then the true magic begins. So it was amazing. A couple of really interesting highlights. So we had 2 boys and 11 girls, ranging from 6 years old to 13 years old, as I mentioned. And it was really amazing. It's been almost a decade since I've been any kind of camp counselor, and over the last 6 to 7 years of doing a lot of self-development work. It was amazing actually holding these kids through process, taking them through process when they had experiences of being self-conscious, being anxious, kind of frustrated, or feeling insecure about themselves. So actually talking to them as mini adults of what do they feel, what's having them shut down. There's this one particular incident that I remember very poignantly where one of the girls, her name was Savannah, she was 7 years old, and she pretty much isolated herself from the rest of the group. And I asked her, what's going on? How are you feeling? She said, well, I don't want to participate. Everybody else is bigger than me. They're not including me. And this other girl, Zoe, who is 6 years old, came, and Zoe and I tag teamed in making Savannah feel really comfortable. And I remember just Zoe saying, well, I don't feel like all these that everybody's bigger than me. And Zoe's this 1.5 or maybe 2 feet high 6-year-old saying, well, I don't feel like everybody's bigger than me. And I said, well, Zoe. And then Zoe's very outgoing and kind of the cheerleader of the crowd because she was young, but we wanted to include her. So I said, well, Zoe, what do you do when you feel like you can't participate, or when you feel different from everybody else? She says, well, I just participate, and I just come from a place of having fun. And if I come from a place of having fun, then I know that I'll be included. Simple words from a simple child, but yet so powerful. And turning it back to Savannah. See, Savannah, just because you're feeling small or you feel like others aren't including you, it's really up to you to to snap yourself out of it and to participate. And the more you participate, there's me, there's Sophia and Yolanda and Julia and Joe, who are also facilitators, and we're on your side. And we can talk to some of the other kids also to make sure that you're feeling included. Does that work for you? How does that sound to you? And just spending a few moments with Savannah around that conversation was incredibly powerful. And she said, well, I just want to be left alone. I just want to be given my space. I said, okay, great. Let's give you your space, but I'm gonna give you a few minutes and come back and check in with you to see how you're feeling. How does that sound? She went, okay. She was crying. And a few minutes later, I went back to her and said, Savannah, how are you feeling now that you've had your own space to kind of be with yourself and to kind of let out your emotions? We're ready to welcome you with open arms, and there's actually an activity that we're going to do that we'd like to include you in and actually have you facilitate. would you be down for that? And she went, okay. And she wiped away her tears, and she, just like nothing had happened, she was ready to join the group again. And for me, that was an incredibly insightful and learning experience. Realizing that, one, regardless of their age, these kids actually have the capacity to deal with their emotions as long as you relate to them as equals and don't get hooked. And I remember there were a couple of kids, particularly some of the boys, who tested my patience at times. And then I recalled me being a mischievous 6, 7 year old, or not 8, 9 year old, and thinking to myself, well, the biggest, or the place that I came from when I was a kid, was to test the adults and to see if I could jar them emotionally, and to see if I as a 6 year old could get a 20, 30, 40 year old adult to react. And that's true, And I remember when I was younger, if an adult didn't react but just kept standing there in a very calm, in a very still manner, kept putting things back on me without backing off, eventually I would have deep respect for that adult and would actually want to get more around them because they were modeling behavior of calmness and of kind of togetherness and cooperation. So that was a huge learning for me. And just like that, there were many, many other incidents, along with some fun incidents of cleaning up horse poop. And today, which is the last day, we had this amazing kind of fashion show where all the kids were broken up into 5 groups. And there were 3 horses, large stallions, that they were grouped with, and then 2 little mini horses. And they had to pick a theme. My group's theme was, I think, space cowboys. And so I had Simon, who is 5, and Bowen, who is 9, part of my group. And it was amazing. I mean, these kids light up and do fingerprinting all over the horses and decorate these horses in a way that followed their theme, and working with the horses in terms of commands to have the horses cooperate. So that was really amazing. And then the next set of learnings was around the various host families that hosted us the last 2 nights. So the first night I was with the Birkins, Eric and Jennifer, who are the parents, and they're the parents of 4 children, and just beautiful, beautiful people. They were grounded more in the Christian tradition, and just as they spoke about God and as they spoke about their own spirituality, deeply resonated, especially for me, coming from a Jain tradition, which is grounded in nonviolence and grounded in multiplicity of views, really accepting everyone's views as valid, and developing a capacity to listen for where people are coming from in their passions. So we just jived at so many levels, and it was incredibly inspiring. And their oldest or second oldest son, Joe, was one of the facilitators. So he and I had some really great conversations throughout the last couple of days. And then additionally, last night I was separated from Sophia and Yolanda. They spent the second night at the Birkins, and I spent last night at another family, Denise and Steve's family, whose 9-year-old son, Bowen, was also one of the participants. And they were just so gracious to open up their home to have me stay with them. They were actually asked by Cherie a night before the workshop began, hey, would you be willing to house, the male member of our team, Parth? And she shared a little bit about my background, and they were like, sure, we'd love to. And I had a really wonderful conversation with Denise 2 nights ago, or last night actually, when I arrived at her home. And it was amazing just just listening to their stories. She and her family had just moved into Santa Rosa a couple months ago, and it was just 4 weeks ago, about a month ago, that she got introduced to Cherie in the HorseCamp, and saw a lot of value for her older son, Bowen, to participate. I asked her, what inspired her to want to have Bowen participate. She said, well, we're new to the community, and just wanted to have Bowen get around other kids that he could learn from, and that he could teach in a way too, and that they could learn from him. And just seeing her passion and her willingness to want to expose Bowen and herself to this beautiful new community of parents that were supportive within a spiritual context. So that was really beautiful. So many other stories over the next week and a half, Yolanda, who is the resident photographer, she'll be posting lots of pictures on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll be posting lots of inspirational stories as well. But it was just an incredible experience. So more vlogs from experiences to come. Over the next 2 months, we're going to be doing a lot of fundraising for the work that we'll be doing in Africa, specifically Zambia, with communities of youth, women, and government or community leaders and government officials to have conversations and dialogue around rape and around abuse, particularly around women, but also around young boys, and shifting the conversation, helping to shift the conversation around HIV and abuse. So more to come on that. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned.